You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
Okay?
You?
Welcome to Too Much Dip. And let me be the first to wish everyone out there a very happy Thanksgiving week. Dylan.
Can't keep doing that, man.
I'm doing it.
No one does Thanksgiving week.
My name is Dave. In studio with me, live, in person, with a mizzen and main hat, it's Dylan. Shivery.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Very, very happy
That's
to be
it?
here. Well, I'm very happy to be here. I am in first place in fantasy football. If you want to talk fantasy football,
Yeah, we definitely do.
Playoffs coming up. I'm happy to do that. Yeah, let's get it going. KJ's not here, but I feel like he's next to me. If I can feel his presence,
You can feel him just towering over you.
Yeah.
Just dwarfing you in size.
hey KJ.
Live via the miracle of satellite or internet, it's KJ.
Well, hello there. Thank you, Dylan. And while the people may or may not care about your fantasy football, they probably do care that you are also in first place when it comes to overall record in our season-long dip picks. It is things are looking up for your boy. Let me say that. Your boy's back in business over here too. I'm still in last.
You know what I didn't realize until
I'm not the worst.
Until maybe a couple weeks ago is that the punishment applies to everyone below the guest score. I thought it was just last place amongst us, but
Only if we all beat the guests.
oh, okay. So yeah, we're just gonna pass that thing around. Is that how this is gonna work?
As somebody who spent quite a bit of time in last place, I've been trying to think of potential buyout options that people would accept and would think were palatable, equitable. So we'll have to discuss some of those. I think maybe hooking in a charity aspect might really be the play, but
Okay.
we've got some time. We've got like 6 or 7 weeks. We carry this bad boy all the way through NFL playoffs.
Okay. I got time. We have time to make it.
David, I appreciate you wishing us happy Thanksgiving week. May I ask you a question that was asked in a work meeting of mine the other day? Just something you're thankful for.
Ooh, are you trying to do an impromptu thank bank?
It was an impromptu thank bank, and I'm curious to know what your generic answer might be because I guarantee it's not the one that I received.
Yeah, I am thankful for my beautiful wife who has provided me with a son and just my entire family and the love of family and friends. And in addition to those family and friends, my coworkers.
Oh, okay. Different category, huh?
No, seriously. I'm thankful for all the ladies out there, all the fellas out there. To quote a line from my third grade Thanksgiving project, I am thankful for my friends because one of them drives a Mercedes-Benz. Shout out, rest in peace, Miss Phillips.
Okay.
What were you thankful for?
Well, I'll tell you what my answer wouldn't be because, while I don't talk about my actual day job that often, this comment stopped me down so bad I had to turn off my camera in the middle of a meeting to be able to laugh off camera. I forgot to mute the microphone. When asked naming something that they're thankful for, this person said, I'm thankful for my family. I'm blessed to kind of have what you'd call, an all-American family. And,
Okay.
when everywhere you look around and you see so much divorce, and estrangement, and drug addiction, I'm just really grateful. My family's just kind of normal. And that was the end. And I'm like, what?
Wow,
Okay.
dude. Nice flex. Little Thanksgiving flex, hey? Congrats on your nuclear family.
I couldn't. I had no idea. I know that wasn't the intent, but it wasn't the execution. And I'm still just completely floored having heard that.
So if you've ever battled with addiction or anything like that, you can just fuck off, basically.
Basically, this guy didn't have that problem. So,
Since apparently you
that's
guys
where I'm at.
aren't thankful for this other group, I will go ahead and point out that I'm very thankful for our listeners.
Boom.
our followers, our supporters of the podcast. Without them, we couldn't do all this. So,
Well, that's interesting because I actually already thanked them
they
because
clearly didn't cross your mind.
they did, because I consider them all to be friends.
Okay.
So they're your friends, but your coworker.
I didn't say you. I was talking about Randy. I'm kidding. Randy's just catching strays, no Mike. No, look, everybody out there. I'm a friend of everyone. Most people, except for terrorists.
everyone except for terrorists.
Correct.
Okay.
KJ, who aren't you friends with?
I am not friends with people who feel it's appropriate to retweet journalists who are reminding me that my favorite college football team's head coach is likely going to take a job with their rival.
Is that why you were screaming "fuck Newey Scruggs" in the group text? Newey Scruggs, of course, is a local sports anchor out of Dallas, NBC 5 DFW, I believe. Right? Is he still with NBC?
Yep.
And he had KJ out of the blue goes, by the way, if you're ever with me and we see Newey Scruggs, remind me to say "fuck Newey Scruggs" to him.
Damn.
And I went and looked at Newey Scruggs' timeline because I'm like, I don't know about this beef. And I saw he had a rather detailed tweet about Sonny Dykes leaving SMU for the crosstown hated rival TCU. And I was like, I almost doubled back to the conversation, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to get him going. It's Saturday. He's having a good time.
Yep. I was not having a good time on Saturday, but nevertheless, we'll get to that. Thankful for everything else but that.
You guys want to talk some National Football League?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Not much happened yesterday. In fact, I didn't watch any games. So if you guys want to just take it, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Says here, first bullet point, the Chiefs beat up Dallas Cowboys.
I figured I would pay proper respect. I think that based on the feedback from my timeline and the goings on local North Texas sports talk, there's a lot of, hey, we have this many reasons to be disappointed, but we were also missing half our team. I'm not here to validate or invalidate those reasons or excuses. The Chiefs didn't look great. The Cowboys actually, made some big plays. Micah Parsons is an absolute monster, but, I think the game, in my opinion, spoke for itself. But I am curious to know how somebody who is so well equipped to deal with games like this, than none other than Dylan Shivery, who's a fan of the University of Texas. How was your experience as a Cowboys fan?
Jeez.
You never want to see your team lose, right? The Chiefs are very good. Let's not forget that this is a very good football team that is almost completely intact from the, incredible teams they've had the past couple of years. The defense played out of their minds. As far as losses go, on the scale of like alarming to okay, whatever, this is not an alarming loss for the Cowboys. Like you said, I mean, Amari was out. CD missed more than half the game. Of course, Tyron Smith was out. So the offense struggled, which was you don't want to see. The defense played pretty well, though. The Chiefs didn't really go off like they're very capable of doing. Micah Parsons played his dick off.
Yeah, he's now dickless.
He's now dickless. I thought the Cowboys could pull it out. They didn't. I thought the offense would do better than they did. But yeah, this is not an alarming loss for me. Look, the Chiefs that's a good football team. It was at home, tough environment. They just played their best game of the season, so they had they're cooking right now, and I think the defense held up pretty well. So I'm not completely down about what happened.
I co-sign. That game, I mean, that had all the looks of like 38-14 early on, but defense, thanks in large part to Micah Parsons, who was basically their entire pass rush. They were able to slow Mahomes enough, create some havoc. Unfortunately, with the turnovers, they didn't convert any points on those. It's not a Broncos loss. The Broncos loss is alarming. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't just get smoked like that by a fringe wild card team. No offense, but when you look at the schedule before the season, you're like, okay, they got to go to Arrowhead against Pat Mahomes. Like, I don't care if they're a 500 team, if they're 6-5, whatever. That's still not going to be an easy game. The thing that worries me is the inability to inability to do anything without like the full complement of your offensive line. And like Terrence Steele, just that's who they put on he's playing left tackle. Like, dude, that guy Chris Jones is a monster, obviously, but like he was just eating, and like you don't want to see that. You know everybody talks about how Dak, his numbers show that he's awesome against the blitz, and they had nothing for him. You know, his only weapon out there was really Michael Gallup, and I don't know,
missed
man.
all but 2 games on the season.
Yeah, it was bad, and you'd like to see a little bit more from Zeke, but again, they had no push on the O-line. So I don't know, man. It sucks. I looked at tickets on Saturday to see or flights. I was like, how much would it be like a day trip, Arrowhead, go to the game solo, fly back that night? Turns out very, very, very expensive. It would have been $1,000 day for your boy. Yeah. And I was not doing that. And really glad I didn't, because that would have been deflating. But
O-line got worked.
They got work,
Kansas
man.
City D-line, yeah, like you said, Chris Jones was an absolute monster.
Frank Clark as well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good they actually are on the D-line, but they looked like that was a different team, man.
Their defense has been better the last few weeks, Kansas City, because they were very, very bad early on in the season. Like they look like the Cowboy defense from last year, just guys out of position. I don't know, man. It sucks that they have to turn around and play in 3 days on Thanksgiving, and you may be without CD. You're definitely without Amari. You're going to be without Randy Gregory. I don't know when DeMarcus Lawrence is coming back. Like, they are not deep, unfortunately. So, yeah, it could be – I would not be surprised if they lost this game Thursday.
I'm trying to search on the fly to see what could bring them – oh, of course. What could bring them hope to push through this Thanksgiving, even with less than full staff team. And that's a halftime performance by none other than Luke Combs. So you guys looking forward to that?
No. Luke Combs, Luke Combs is like one of the most successful musicians in the world right now. He has like 1,000 just pretty good songs on the radio, 0 great ones. That's where I fall in Luke Combs. It's like just good old boy beer drinking music, but none of them are just great. I don't know.
He played at the Players Championship the year we went out there.
He did.
We watched him chunk one on 17.
It was chunky.
Yeah, big chunk. Yeah, no, I'm not excited. I mean, and on the anniversary of Creed's performance in 2001, the 20-year anniversary, like Luke Combs doesn't move the needle for me. I at least want, if they're going to go country, I want the guy who's going to get up there and not really sing, but he's just going to do more spoken word with like a real basic like early 2000s beat, and then like some steel guitar playing, maybe some steel drums. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to watch this. This will be when we eat dinner, I think. We're normally a halftime eating family.
What if he plays his hit South on Ya?
What does that mean?
I don't know, but the album cover for the single has a football on it, so maybe it means 2 different things. And Beer Never Broke His Heart is another one.
That's a good one, man.
Dude, if you listen to just like any just like generic pop country music station on the radio, you will hear seven different like Luke Combs songs in 1 hour. It's wild how many songs he has out right now that are pretty popular.
Yeah, I think I've heard Beautiful Crazy, which isn't a bad song, I believe. But I won't be watching either. The Cowboys Thanksgiving halftime show is a special type of performance hell. We've been blessed with the likes of Meghan Trainor in the past, as well as Creed, as you mentioned. So it's always the time to let's get outside, go play some football in the backyard type thing.
I'm glad you put this on the rundown, KJ, because this man needs more love.
I don't respect, or I guess I haven't been paying attention, so I really wanted to call myself out for it. Are either of you guys proud owners of a fantasy football team that employs Jonathan Taylor?
I am, as of 2 weeks ago, as my horse went down. His name is Derrick Henry.
Okay.
And I didn't even propose this trade. One of my other guys in my league did, and he wanted CD Lamb for Jonathan
Okay.
Taylor. And I said, yeah, thank you. And he's been absolutely going off. So thank you, Jonathan Taylor, and thank you, Michael, for making a dumbass trade.
Is he being wronged by the NFL community just because he plays in Indy? Like,
Yeah.
if
and
this
the
dude
team
plays
got
in,
4 losses.
because he's a top 3 back in the league. I don't know if the numbers back that up, but based on my my eye test, he's awesome, and he's young, and he's only getting better. And the Colts are competitive.
He plays in Indianapolis. He's also just like a soft-spoken, seemingly dude, and doesn't really have, other than his play on the field, like a bunch of star power. Seemingly, I don't know. He does fly under the radar, but the dude is legit. Five touchdowns, man.
Are you saying that he's not the kind of guy that'll, as he's running into the end zone, point at the defender, or maybe even mimic an attack on a sideline with a weapon of war?
That was kind of sick, but no, he's not that kind of guy. He's the Barry Sanders just handed to the ref guy.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, man.
Yeah.
I do need to watch. I talked about it last week, but the Hard Knocks about the Colts in season came out. So that's another guy I probably need to go check out more. But 204 total yards, 5 touchdowns versus Buffalo in Buffalo. Like, that's, well fucking done, man. I guess at full health, all of the running backs, I'd put him, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. Like, you take your pick there. On what you're looking for. Christian McCaffrey had a ridiculous play yesterday. I don't think it went very far, but basically did a handstand and like, I don't even know how to describe it. Got his feet cut out from under him, almost flipped up on his head, planted his hand down and kept the ball off the ground, got back to his feet and like continued forward progress. Like it was ridiculous.
You talk about bad losses or losses that should alarm you. Obviously, the Bills losing at home to the Colts, and then Titans. The Titans, the team that I think a lot of people were, that was your best team in the AFC a couple weeks ago.
After that Rams win, yeah.
After the Texans, man. What?
Tyrod's back.
He is back. I'm happy for him.
It looks like they're going to get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs if things go as scheduled. Week 17.
All it means to me is the AFC South hitting out of reach.
So.
Oh, wow. You want to give us a little rundown on your Jags?
No, it's not good. It's ugly. It's very ugly because we're in competition with this next team I wanted to mention because it's atop my list of places you could see Kellen Moore's, teeth next year. The Seahawks are 3-7. Like they're right now 4th worst in the NFL. And Pete Carroll walked out of a press conference, first time ever. He's done that yesterday. He's like 71 years old. He's officially on my Oh He Gone watch.
He's officially on KJ's Oh He Gone watch. Mark that down. Okay. I mean, noted.
I don't know.
No, look, he is. I mean, is Russ even there next year? Like, do you just tear it all down?
I think it depends on who you get. And I think if you get Kellen Moore with Russell Wilson at quarterback, that would be interesting. And you still have DK.
Yeah. But if Pete Carroll's involved, it could be a controlled demolition.
True. Because jet fuel,
I gotcha.
will be in that whole thing.
Thank you.
I wrote down the Packers are down bad because their injury list is absurd. The Cowboys is bad, but the Packers might slightly be worse, especially if you take into account, Mari's COVID situation, Aaron Rodgers being out with COVID. But the Packers are missing something like the Cowboys don't have any season-long injuries. The Packers are missing a starting lineman. They've been without 2 of their top 3 receivers for like 4 or 5 games this year, some due to COVID, some due to injury. And then 1 or 2 players in the secondary are out for the year. And, they dropped the game yesterday in the last second to the Vikings, but they're still, squarely in the playoff hunt. So,
dude, all those injuries, and they still, they very likely or very possibly could have won that game yesterday. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. It helps the Cowboys as far as seeding goes. I don't know. I was ready to anoint the Packers a couple of weeks ago, and then Aaron Rodgers to talk to Joe Rogan, and the rest is history.
Are we disrespecting the fact that the Colts have 2 losses? Not the Colts, I'm sorry. The Cardinals have 2 losses. One of them coming on kind of a boneheaded play by AJ Green. Like the Cardinals you don't give away a win in this league, but very easily could have won that game. And then they've been without Kyler for like 3 weeks, and fucking Colts still putting up wins.
Colt is
He's
cooking.
2-1.
He had a good game yesterday.
Yeah.
He put up numbers.
I had the hot take a few years ago that he was the best backup in the league, and then
You're wrong.
And then he had like the weird leg. Remember that where his leg almost snapped? I don't know how it didn't snap. He had the broken leg.
Yeah.
I thought that kind of derailed his career. I didn't know if he would ever play again. And then here he is now. I mean, 2-1 is including a couple road wins. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, him and I would probably say him and Dalton. I don't know what backup would be a better scenario.
Yeah, maybe Garrett Gilbert. I don't know, Dylan. What your thoughts are?
Stop it, David.
Not even on a roster right now. How ridiculous is that?
Dude, it's sad. What did he? I mean, why is he blacklisted? He's one of the. He almost beat the Steelers last year.
The dude can't catch a break.
He really can't. Unbelievable what that University of Texas did to his career. Unbelievable. You guys got any other NFL notes?
That's all I got.
Okay. Before we hop into college, let's talk Headspace, our good friends at Headspace, an app that's we all love, we all used before we even had them sponsoring the show. With the stresses of this last year, it's more important than ever, to practice living healthier and happier lives. Our thoughts can be confusing enough. Meditation doesn't have to be. Headspace is your convenient dose of meditation, mindfulness, and sleep exercises to relieve stress and anxiety and help you get a good night's sleep, all in one app, making it easy to catch your breath and make time for your mental health. And it's one of the most science-backed meditation apps in the world, proving meditation works. You know, a study showed that in just 2 weeks, Headspace can reduce your stress by 14%. We both believe that because we were doing it before.
Yeah, I've been using this app for quite a while, actually. As a beginner who knew nothing about meditation, I wanted a beginner's walk through, a guide, and teach me how to do it. And it did so, and it was very effective. That 14% number, I absolutely believe it. Probably higher for me.
I think tonight I'm going to go home and get a Medi off. Maybe a little SOS, maybe just something, a quick breather, something to relieve the stress, bringing about a moment of peace amongst my chaos that is this crazy podcast life,
I hear you, Dave. I think you should, man.
Find some Headspace at headspace.com/bang and get 1 month free of their entire meditation library. This is the best Headspace offer available, so go to headspace.com/bang today, headspace.com/bang. College football. KJ, how you feeling?
I mean, let's start with just Ohio State. I feel like that's I wrote in SMU first, but I think Ohio State deserves proper credit. After dropping that game to Oregon and really kind of having some shaky games early in the Big Ten schedule, everybody's been kind of meh on Ohio State, and they've just kept cooking. But they hadn't had a game like they had this weekend. Hell, they never had a game like that against Michigan State, and Michigan State's never had a game like that. It was an absolute clinic offensively, and then Michigan State just kept fucking the ball away. Like that's an unnecessary curse in there, but like it was ugly.
Yeah, I might have to walk back a couple things I said about Stroud to start the year. I think I was kind of critical of his passing abilities.
Everybody was.
Yeah, that dude is a monster.
He looked really. I mean, it was Oregon, right? He looked very poor against Oregon, and now he's who, as far as like the Heisman goes, like who else is up there with him?
I think it's assuming they don't drop, a game to Michigan next week, which I'm fully amped up to see now. It's probably going to end up being him. I think he's got the benefit of having 3 of the top 5 receivers in the nation, on his team with Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and the other one that I think is like Garrett Wilson. They're loaded at receiver. There's a play that Olave made. It wasn't a touchdown, but it was like over the shoulder, falling out of bounds, where if Stroud throws it in line with the receiver or within 5 yards in bounds, it's cleared away a touchdown. So he's getting kind of what the Alabama quarterbacks have benefited from in the last few years, where you just got so many weapons. It's just not even fair.
Yeah, I don't think I've been this horned for a Big Ten game like I am for Michigan, Ohio State in a long, long time.
I don't even know if I have a preference who wins this. I don't like Ryan Day's face, so I guess I lean towards Harbaugh, even though he's one of the most unlikable coaches in the nation.
Yeah, he doesn't have a likable face either.
He needs this so bad.
Oh, yes.
He needs it, man.
Michigan's one loss, right?
Yeah.
That one loss, obviously, to Michigan State.
Nope.
No.
To Randy.
To Purdue?
Spoiler.
Wait,
No.
No, it was Michigan State.
Oh, you're right. I'm thinking Purdue beat Iowa and Michigan State, not Michigan and Michigan State.
Purdue's just been so excellent this year, you can't even remember.
Their wins just, they all run together.
Some real signature wins. Okay. Well, anything else happen in the state of Ohio that we need to talk about? Like anything else?
Unfortunately so. Now, I don't mean this in any way as like a shot at how Dylan handles like criticism of a team he loves. Like, not only am I like kind of cut from the cloth of like all of the teams I've ever liked have always been losers. Like, so it just does not affect me, just washes over me.
You're built
I watched
different.
This game at my uncle's down in Red Oak, about an hour south of here, at my uncle's ranch or whatever. That scene doesn't matter as much except to understand that I couldn't go anywhere else away from the absolute gut shots, gut punches every single time Cincinnati would score. My uncle would look over. He's like, "Y'all got any players in the NFL?" He's like, "What?" He's like, "Where'd all these wins come from?" It just nonstop, just laying it on. Like, this team is terrible, left and right, any way he could. I left the room when it was like 35-0. He came in, he's like, "Hey, good news. You guys scored." And I go in there and it's getting reviewed and it was overturned. We scored. He comes back in the other room after, again, I've completely stopped watching the game by the fourth quarter. He's like, "Hey, your coach is giving the team a pep talk. Start of the fourth quarter. This might turn it around." It was an ugly day. Cincinnati's good. We knew they were good. SMU would have had to play their absolute best game to keep it close, and they by far played the worst game they played all year.
They look like a team that knew this may be the last time they, you know what I mean? Like, they knew their coach might be on his way out. Like, they're reading this stuff.
The problem I have with that is we don't have a particularly young team. So, like, for Tanner Mordecai, he could declare for the draft if he wanted to. If they go up there and show out, like, it matters more to him that they look good. Same thing with Reggie Roberson. Rashee Rice, I think, is a sophomore. We were missing our number one wide receiver this year. It wouldn't have mattered. But we have enough experience on that team that they would have benefited more by playing well than from having their feelings hurt that, oh my gosh, our coach is going to leave us in 3 weeks. Like, it shouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, this was probably the most disappointing game of the week for me, just because I looked forward to watching it because I thought it was going to be a shootout. SMU seems to find themselves in those kind of games a lot. And Cincinnati had kind of played a little bit down to their opponents the last few weeks. You're waiting for them to blow somebody out, impress the committee. And, I mean, if you're going to blow somebody out, that's a 2-loss SMU team, right? At the time coming in that's pretty well respected. Like you said, Mordecai is like top 5 in passing yards or something. He's definitely going to get drafted if he goes. But, yeah, that was disappointing. That was not good at all.
Yeah, the fact that they played closer games with like Tulsa and USF just does not look good for us because we'll play Tulsa next week and we don't play USF this week, but we probably would have beat both of those teams by 30 or 40, and then we just turn around and just, pee down our leg. Somebody else who did that same thing, Cam Rising, had himself a day out there in Salt Lake City.
What'd he do?
Ran all over Oregon.
Dude, absolutely just dismantled Oregon.
Hence my pun, Oregon, because they're no longer in the college football playoffs.
That was good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was on Jaquindon watch. Didn't materialize, but I was still monitoring the situation.
It was my first full Pac-10 experience, and they were forcing in backstories on players like I'd never before. Cam Rising's been around this program for so long, and he actually came to the program for this, that, and the other. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just highlight that they had 3 quarterbacks straight out of Texas? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, why take the long way here? And Oregon got embarrassed. they weren't favored on the road. Utah got way more respect than I thought they should have. I'm glad I picked Utah, but it was just ugly. I wouldn't be shocked to see Kayvon Thibodeau be like, all right, well, we'll play through the Pac-10 championship. And if for some reason they don't make it, I'll see ya.
As he should.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing. Or Pac-12, I said Pac-10. And then Florida has fired Dan Mullen.
Man, I thought about you when I saw the news, KJ.
I don't know at what point I became like a Dan Mullen apologist or defender. Certainly wasn't my goal at any time in recent history, but shout out to the Georgia fan base who was very vocal about how much Florida sucked and it was Dan Mullen's fault because apparently Florida listened. What would you think if Sark said, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm going to go to Florida?
Oh, no, don't go.
I mean, it'd be fantastic. I mean, I think I might trade Sark for Dan Mullen at this point. That's how bad I'm. I don't know.
$20 million buyout for the record.
For who? Sark?
For Sark.
That's
20,
right.
$20 million.
And I think that's one of those where, like, if he were to take another job, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just straight up probably.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If he were to leave on his own, then there's no buyout.
You know, we weren't going to talk Texas, but I mean, since you brought him up,
yeah, that's fine. I have no problem talking Texas. Yeah, they lost to 4-6 West Virginia on the road to extend their losing streak to six games, the worst since 1956.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the team has just completely given up. I think coaches are lost, and I think everyone's just wanting the season to be over at this point, which it will be soon, thankfully. Worst season in my lifetime as a Texas fan, of course. It's ugly, Dave, and I don't know how he's going to get recruits to buy into this and turn it around. So I think he might get a couple of years, and if he doesn't have a significant improvement next year, 7-ish wins, 8 wins, something like that, I think he's probably out the door.
I've probably said it before, but I don't think, barring something off the field, you can't get rid of him after 1 year. Obviously, and because if you're Texas, that's really, really embarrassing. Not to mention very, very expensive. And I was talking to Club Cool's Barrett Dudley, a Texas fan, a Texas alum, and I was like, man, maybe the best thing for them is to get a little bit humbled, or majorly humbled, I should say, and you still have the name of Texas, and you can still get some top recruits, maybe, but to get some guys that 3 stars, some guys that are not getting recruited by all these other schools who are dogs, who just want to play ball and aren't, they talk about Texas becoming like the country club atmosphere, and people get here and they think they've made it, right? We'll get guys that are a little bit hungrier, and that can completely change the culture.
Texas has plenty of mid-tier guys. I have plenty of 3 stars. The problem with this, one of the big problems with the team is no talent, actually. I mean, no depth at pretty much every position. I mean, there are a couple stars here and there. Bijan's a stud. Worthy's a stud.
Where was Hudson Card?
There's like one guy in defense who's pretty good, overshown. And then it's just like a bunch of guys. I mean,
I feel like year in, year out, they always have a top recruiting class, top 20.
They usually have a top 10 recruiting class, yeah. But it's, that's just coming out of high school. That doesn't mean they're actually going to perform when they hit I don't know, man. It's a mess, and they need.
I think that with them,
we're at a loss for
I don't
words
know to
here.
say anymore, man.
It's the most inexplicable implosion I've ever seen in year one of a team.
Yes.
Again, the context of it, like, had he started off 0-6, like, would people have called for his head like after the 5th loss? Like, probably, but I don't think he would have gotten run. And then had he finished off like in a 4-0 streak, like, would people have then believed in him at the end of the year? And I'm like, maybe not. It doesn't matter because that's not how it played out. It played out the opposite. So I think for them to turn it around, you're going to have to get the quarterback position absolutely right. And they've got to figure out, is it Caleb Williams or not? Wait, not Caleb Williams. Is it, what's the quarterback's name?
Casey
Thompson.
Thomas. Yes. Is it him? Is it Hudson Card? If it's neither, they've got to go find a transfer and get somebody in there because those will be found. Like without question, hell, Spencer Rattler will be out there. I don't think he's that guy either, but you've got to go get a quarterback and it's got to go from there. Of the big names that keep popping up for jobs, I bitched about this earlier because I don't care to figure out who's coming to SMU quite yet. If Sonny Dykes does in fact go to TCU, I am just genuinely curious, like where's the first domino going to hit for LSU, USC, Florida, and any other big job that comes open. I don't think there's a name out there that could come in and make Texas say, you know what, this guy is our no-brainer guy. Like Bill O'Brien is probably going to be one of those sought after names for college football in the offseason, I think. He's offensive coordinator now at Alabama, former head coach at Penn State, and then at Texas or Houston Texans. And then Georgia's defensive coordinator is going to get a job. He interviewed for Kansas last year, and they gave it to Lance Leopold from Buffalo, and I think that was the right decision. Younger guy, like low 40s, but has been a stud D coordinator, coached under Mel Tucker, and then also Saban and Gary, and then Kirby Smart. So I don't think he's in line for the Texas job. What I'm getting to is there's not a name out there short of, I don't know, like it's going to sound ridiculous, but like short of like an Urban Meyer type situation where somebody who's an established name is just going to come in and big D that program. Like it's just not going to happen. You're stuck with what you got and you got to go get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same story for Florida. Everything we just said, just say it's Florida.
I agree. And Texas is one of these programs whose like fan base won't settle for like an up and coming guy. They want someone who's already established. Like I think Baylor's done an incredible job of finding guys like that.
Yep.
A random Matt Rule, guys like that. Texas is just kind of stuck in their way. I don't know. Maybe Sark fits that bill just a little bit, but yeah, there's no slam dunk big splash hire out there that Texas could get right now, which I would have said differently just even a few years ago. But it's just the program's in total disarray. It's ugly.
Do you guys give any like credence to the thought that like the change that Austin as a city is going through has impacted the University of Texas? And by that, I mean, it's become more difficult to be accessible for families to come down and stay and see games, or for kids to see it as like a college town per se. Like, I don't believe in that much, but that's also because I'm kind of jaded by like SMU is a nothing school in University Park in a tiny town inside of Dallas. And like, you'll still have your core culture wherever you go. I don't think you need to be in College Station to be able to kind of build this huge behemoth. Do you think that has anything to do with it? The fact that Austin is becoming like a big city?
I've had thoughts like that in the past. Like it's losing its like, I don't think Austin's ever been a college town per se. It's always been a city with a huge university in it.
Yeah.
But it's becoming much more like, you know, a metropolitan area than just a city with a big university. So maybe there's something to that. And what you said about, sorry, Siri is activated on my computer for some reason, about it being like less affordable to go watch your kid play there. There might be something to that. I don't know.
Yeah. I doubt that recruits take that into account when they're making their decisions, but you know, and I certainly don't think that it's affecting like their performance, but I'm sure it is a problem people can bitch about.
I mean, if I was a stud athlete coming out of high school, a lot of these kids are coming from small towns too, you know? So yeah. I don't know if I'd be super excited about the prospect of playing in a big city. I wouldn't. Yeah, maybe so, man. Who knows?
Definitely doesn't explain how UTSA is undefeated. Unrelated, and it makes there's no reason for me to say that, but shouts to the Roadrunners.
Shout out Jeff Traylor. That's about all I got. Baylor, good win on the road, lose their quarterback to a hammy. But backup Blake Shapen comes in. I think he's like a baseball, football hybrid guy. So you'll be seeing him on the diamond. He was awesome, like legitimately good. Reminded a lot of people of Charlie Brewer in that he is a white guy who can run. That's all Twitter was just like, oh, is that Charlie out there? No, it's not Charlie. He doesn't play for the team anymore. But yeah, that was a good win. Manhattan, not an easy place to play. Kansas State's a good team. Man, if Baylor doesn't have that loss to TCU, man,
Who do you think feels more that way? Baylor to TCU or Ole Miss losing to Auburn, who's, definitely not what they should have been.
Definitely. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think Oklahoma State is like above and beyond everybody in the Big 12 right now. Like,
I don't know, that Baylor game with Oklahoma State was, that was just two very similar teams. It was ugly, but like Big Ten ugly. Not bad teams, but just
Baylor hung in there in Stillwater too, and they may get if Bedlam works out the way I think it will in Oklahoma State, they should destroy OU. They're so much better.
The teams that Texas was losing to before Kansas ended up being so pretty good teams. We talked about this last week. These last 2 weeks, man. No excuse. Sorry, I'm still stuck on it. We can move on.
I get it, man. I get it.
But Baylor, we could have a Oklahoma State Baylor rematch in the Big 12 title game if OU can lose, which I think they will. They should. We've said that before. It's Bedlam. Really fun game. That's all I got on college.
Same.
Any other notes, tidbits? Can we talk about our good friends at Coinbase?
Please do.
If you've been looking to level up your financial portfolio, it's always good to diversify. Why not think about cryptocurrency, Dylan? You heard of this?
Oh, like I'm not in the game already, David?
Backed by the world's leading investors, Coinbase keeps your portfolio safe and secure while adding crypto into the mix. Coinbase offers a trusted and easy-to-use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. I've been using it. I didn't know anything about crypto, and then the first thing I did was download Coinbase like year and a half, 2 years ago.
I'm in the same boat. I still don't know a whole lot about crypto, but I am a Coinbase user and have been since the jump.
They support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. Millions of people in over 100 countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. Whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. For a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at Coinbase.com/bang. Sign up at Coinbase.com/bang for $10 in free Bitcoin. This is a limited time offer, so sign up today. Coinbase.com/bang.
Right.
We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to take this sports party, which I think we all want to do, and we're going to kind of combine it into a combat sports minute because we got heavy combat sports. This is just going to be little Woodrow's after a McGregor fight. This is just going to be so much testosterone. You don't want to look at somebody the wrong way. Dylan, be careful. You're on Cabeza Watch here.
Are you kidding me?
I would never joke about Cabeza Watch.
Let me put my Affliction shirt on. Go right ahead.
Did you ever own an Affliction shirt? Be honest.
What about Tap Out?
What about Tap Out?
No.
What about Ed Hardy?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Good.
I was in that era. I was very college poor, and my go-to was buying what I would term disposable shirts. I would go to Target, buy a $10 graphic T-shirt or whatever. It probably said like 7-Up on it or some shit. Wear it and then leave it wherever.
You're just leaving shirts? Just one time wear only?
You don't grow up looking at superstars like Allen Iverson and not try to emulate them in some form or fashion.
Are you the kind of guy? Are you like you don't want to be photographed if you're wearing like an outfit that you had worn in another photograph? Like I was just photographed in this 2 weeks ago.
You bought
I probably
disposable
was
shirts
that guy. I'm definitely not that guy now.
and you simply left them.
Hey, KJ left his shirt again.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want it. You
I'm
go
not
ahead and
gonna-
get rid of it.
As this is the Combat Sports Minute, I will cop to having been in an occasional bar fight or two, and so there was one time outside of a bar in Greenville, winter, similar to this, that a person just unannounced, unnecessarily, basically two-handed shoved me out of the way and continued to walk, and I about lost my ass. And the bouncer saw it and he's like, "Hey man, you can't do that in here." I was like, "All right, I'm going to go outside." And I thought it was wise to stand outside and wait on said fight to occur and then remove my shirt while waiting on said fight to occur.
Oh, shit.
It was a bad decision. All around bad
Did you
decision.
fight the guy?
Yeah, eventually.
How did it go?
It went fine. And then the managers came and broke it up and they were trying to pin me down, say I escalated this situation. allegedly for hypothetical entertainment purposes only, this didn't happen. I may have thrown a punch at the manager, and then all hell really broke loose, and I had to skedaddle.
If you're about to engage in a bar fight and some dude is already without shirt, he pops top, you don't want that smoke. That's a guy who's willing to do anything to win a fight.
To quote maybe one of my favorite lines ever heard on the Wash Media Network, the great Sally DeFries. She said on last week's mail-in, I was a complete shithead in my 20s. I've never felt seen in any more ways than that one.
I think most people would agree. Used to be a piece of shit. Okay, so where do we start? We can start with the actual Combat Sports Minute.
Yes.
Because we may have seen the last of Sean Porter as his corner throws in the towel against Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford, Nebraska's own, pound for pound, 1, 2, or 3, depending on whose list you're looking at. He's awesome. And he TKOs Sean Porter. And you know what? I think if you looked at the cards, I have not looked at the judges' cards, but it was a very close fight. I think Sean Porter was winning that fight up until that moment, but that's what Terrence Crawford does. He just kind of waits, figures it out, gets your timing down, and if a guy lunges into you and he's got your timing, you're in a lot of trouble. So shout out to him. Sean Porter's a really fun fighter because he gets in there. He got in there with Errol Spence and did the same thing last year, and he's not afraid to move forward on a guy. And bring the fight to them, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see somebody who's just trying to be a counterpuncher against these guys.
He's a showman.
Huh?
He's a showman, too. He makes the work up to the fight or the build up to the fight entertaining, for sure.
Yeah.
You may not like him, but he keeps it engaging.
And shout out to his dad, who is his trainer, who low-key just called him out for not being prepared.
Flat out said, my son wasn't ready.
Okay, dude. And also, that, I think I heard that Porter basically said that's it for him. He's hanging him up.
Mm-hmm.
And
he said, I stood toe to toe with Crawford. I'm proud of what the performance I put on. I'm okay walking away from boxing at this point. I'm sure that means he'll get a fight at some point. This isn't got embarrassed and he's out of there, but he's 37, I think.
Yeah. He's had plenty of title shots. He's held belts before. Look, great career. Good for him. Shout out to him. But the real fight, the fight that dominated the TL the last 24 hours, we've got one LeBron James versus Isaiah Stewart of Detroit Pistons fame. And I should say this wasn't even a fight. This was just one man catching a rogue elbow and apparently a back fist. I'm not really sure which one landed. Maybe they both did. And then just one guy losing his shit. Amazing. We just had he was a bloody pulp. He was a bloody crime scene.
And shouts to the bystanders on the court keeping this dude at bay. He had like 15 hold me back guys, and thankfully, because he was out to,
he was breaking tackles.
He wanted to throw hands big time with LeBron. That could have gotten ugly, and it would have escalated big time. So props to everyone for controlling the situation. What's LeBron's deal, man? That was a very intentional blow.
Yeah, I'd say at 6. I'm looking up Isaiah Stewart, 6'8", 250s, 20 years old. I have nothing but respect for LeBron and what the outcome of that fight might be if it were someone closer to his age. But I'm not trying to fuck around with 20-year-olds who are bleeding and have lost their absolute mind. Because again, I once was one of those 20-year-olds. I don't know what the hell LeBron was thinking. Or if it was one of those where he tried to throw it and maybe he didn't think that would be the outcome where he busts some dude's face open. But that's not a good look. Regardless of what Isaiah Stewart did after, LeBron's got to own it and be like, that's got to be a suspension beyond just that game.
Yeah,
man, I thought I had it, and then I realized I was looking at a tweet from @BleacherReport. So I'm really glad I didn't read that into the record because that would have been very embarrassing.
What did it say? Let's pretend like you had read it. What would it have sounded like?
Isaiah Stewart will receive a 14-game suspension and a $45,000 fine. LeBron will receive a $15,000 fine, no suspension. What's the point? What is the point? What's your end game? Just a fake Bleacher Report account. It's not even a parody. They're just trying to fool people. It's not even funny.
I might go follow him
Shout out to
just
the trainer or coach who was literally trying to hold him back, grabbing onto his leg. That's so good.
it's not worth it. It's not worth the breakdowns that the timeline had going. Like Tyronn Lue was just praying that nothing happened. Like he was full hands completely extended. Like we get it. It was LeBron's fault. And LeBron looked like the kid who you just caught, like, you know, watching a nudie movie and you walk in the living room and he's trying to explain to you there wasn't, he was, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
completely. I don't know why this guy's so angry right now. What's going on? I said, I'm sorry.
Kind of made the same gesture at, oh God, I forget his name. His old J.R. Smith when he didn't shoot the ball in that playoff game. And he was like, look at him like his hands are like, what are you doing? He kind of made that same gesture toward this dude. Like it wasn't 100% on LeBron when it absolutely was. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook was certainly about that smoke though.
Yeah, he was in his best gentleman Jim Jack boxing stance, ready to engage in fisticuffs. What was that?
He definitely got into the whole, you know, pull up your shorts, you know, fully like getting ready, position ready for it. And Rondo was like halfway off the court looking back, or maybe those two spliced videos. I've seen so many fake ones at this point, but Anthony Davis is the question mark here. Who's their other big man that they've got on the team? Dwight's back there, right?
Is he back in LA?
I think he's back in LA. Like,
yeah, he is. He back.
What would have happened if Anthony Davis was forced to get involved? Because he's one of those people who's too long to be like athletic enough in that moment.
Well,
I just don't want to see him get run up on like that.
And I think, can we agree? Like, where do NBA athletes stand on like, ability to fight, fist fight? Like, I think you'll even hear NBA players, like you get your occasional Steven Jacksons,
David West.
You get, but they'll be like, yeah, most NBA guys can't fight. And, you know, a lot of these guys came up playing AAU ball. They were bigger than everybody. Nobody wanted to try them probably. And they just never really had to fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Davis has never punched anybody in his life. I wouldn't want to be the guy who finds out, though.
I certainly think that's one of those where, you know, eventually you've kind of got to move to the mush more than punching. Like you're just pushing people's faces away from you and or going for the chokehold. That's all you got in your bag.
I always remember the Shaq video. I don't remember who it was, but he threw like this overhand, and it was just this disgustingly ugly punch that if it had landed, it would have absolutely ended the guy's life. But it was just, there was no form on it. It was like, dude, have you never just punched a heavy bag like one time? Like, I don't know.
Shaq Fu was a video game, not a real life thing.
I will say I've always been fascinated by like LeBron, like thinking about like, okay, LeBron in like MMA. Like, you know, people like LeBron at tight end, that whole fantasy. Yeah. I'm like, LeBron in MMA, if he just trained MMA for a couple years, what happens? So I would love to see it. I'd love to see him throw with somebody at some point. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be shocked if he whipped out like a kick or something. He might have that in his bag. Just a nice calf kick to disable the guy's leg.
I think that's what you're going to get. You're going to get somebody breaking their shin.
Okay, sorry. Too many fight hypotheticals. But what if like somebody was just like a low-key jiu-jitsu guy and just gets somebody in like a guillotine and just chokes him out? Just a tap out. Just
full rear mount.
I would love it.
While we heard today that our economy is on the rebound, there are two unfortunate, well, I guess one's not our economy. Unemployment's risen by 2 out there because both Luke Walton has lost his job as well as Manchester United's manager. Completely unrelated, but I had about as much to say about both situations. I was like, they happened.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work out for Luke Walton. I mean, he's been in this position before. The Kings are ass, and that's a really fun team. They've got the Baylor kid, Davion Mitchell, who I still think is going to be a really, really good player. But
Buddy Hield, right?
Yeah.
They've got talent out there, but
they've got a ton of talent. Harrison Barnes, former Mav great. Who got sacked, KJ?
Great question. I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name. I just love that you could find the word KJ in his name. Solskjaer, I'm going to say, but that's probably not right. We'll have to look to Lad Football Bruv on how to pronounce that.
Dylan nodded like he
Better than any of us could do. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, I don't think I would have pulled that one out.
Wait, the Kings fired Walton this early into the season?
Correct.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Wasn't he up for some I thought his name was getting run out there to get fired like through the off season, like I guess for disrespecting a female reporter, or like maybe I don't recall the story to properly Kemp spin this, but I think he was on thin ice already.
Okay.
Did you see Lewis Hamilton's helmet for the race in Qatar?
No.
I did not. I did watch the end of the race. I didn't notice this though.
Absolute flames. The design that he ran out there. His helmet was essentially rainbow, but it was the Progressive Pride support flag. So up the entire front mask or front visor of his helmet and over his helmet, he had a rainbow.
Oh, that's
Notable
tight.
As in Qatar, relations between same sex. I should have thrown a picture in the.
I got it up on over here.
That's on me, Randy. Relations between same-sex couples or people is punishable by prison and or death in Qatar. So going in and protesting, on Maine like that, that's a big balls move. And the F1 is headed to the UAE, to Saudi Arabia, either next weekend or the weekend after that. He plans to wear it there as well.
He's going to the kingdom?
He's going to the kingdom. And I don't think, we talked about Peng Shuai, who has notably, I don't know, been found or done some interviews with the World Tennis Association, but athletes aren't outside the realm or the reach of some of these huge countries and governments who absolutely don't play that shit.
And his canter.
And his canter for primary, yes.
Like, I don't think he can go. I know he can't go back to Turkey, and I think
he's probably not going to go back to Europe anywhere.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about the same thing, but he's not going anywhere outside the U.S., I would imagine.
What a badass. Okay, this is badass. Like, good for him. I wouldn't feel safe doing this if I were him. So more power to him, man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Not even going to say anything. I mean, okay. Yeah, no.
He backed up by getting the dub. Again, I caught about probably 40% of this race, a little bit in and out. Verstappen got penalized for something that went on during qualifying, so he was racing from behind, but he held a pretty solid 25 to 30 second gap throughout the race. So shouts to Hamilton. I believe the championship is down to the last two races.
I think it's like 8 points.
Hamilton's in second place by like 6 to 8 points or something like that. So
I saw that. I learned something new every time, and I saw Verstappen had the fastest lap, so he got some points for that.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Dude, I'm just a big ground floor F1 guy. A lot of people weren't watching it before the Netflix thing. I wasn't one of those people.
Man,
Hamilton I feel also, like
he also called Qatar.
All jokes aside, we have probably not even just from the show, but the amount of time we've actually tried to watch and read on F1 over the last year and a half. We all deserve a pat on the back. So congrats to us. I'm thankful for us.
Yeah, we're basically the first responders of sports media F1 guys.
Yes, we are, David.
Dylan, you had a fun note on Qatar?
No, it's not a fun note. I was just saying that Hamilton was quoted saying that Qatar, is that you say it?
It's you want to say Qatar, but it's Qatar. I've heard everybody say Qatar.
Said, quote, one of the worst countries in this part of the world when it comes to human rights issues.
Okay.
Pretty bold thing to say. And then, man, good for him, but head on a swivel out there, buddy.
Yeah. And then
he's my GOAT.
There was the note cat added, but I don't know if this was by me mid-thought or somebody else.
This was me, Big Cat. As our Sunday, we were blessed on the TL by one Tiger Woods. Hitting balls again. Hitting balls on the range.
Okay. The TL...
Swinging the club.
Tia went a little crazy with this, I think.
Dude.
It's a cool moment, but Okay, it was cool to see.
Oh, go ahead. Minimize,
No, I'm happy,
minimize it.
I'm happy to see it. It's just
Doesn't sound like you are.
people are talking like Jesus is,
Golf Jesus?
has risen. It's cool. I don't think he's ever going to be competitive again. I hope
Randy,
I'm wrong.
take down this clip.
No, I hope I'm wrong. I mean,
I can't wait.
I love Tiger.
I can't wait. We're doing this in 4 years.
He is a skinny leg king, by the way. It's never not shocking to look at his
Yeah,
legs.
okay. He had a very major leg injury.
No, his other leg.
I know,
His healthy
okay.
leg looks the same way.
Is he? Somebody had a good take on the TL. Like, is this going to inspire guys to go with the leg sleeve on the course now? Like, just the unnecessary sleeve. Like, I kind of want to do it because I am also a skinny leg king.
Let me see him uncork a big dog before I start to get excited. That was a very...
Why don't you fucking calm down?
I'm
He
just saying.
dislocated his ankle.
He showed himself putting. It was a fluid body movement, like it was a swing.
No, it was a leisurely pitching wedge.
He had the track man
I
out.
want to see that leg. I want some torque on that leg before I get too excited. I want to be excited for this. I'm just not yet. That's all I'm saying. Swing looks sharp though. It's Tiger.
You don't look sharp.
I know I
You
don't.
look like a big jerk.
Yeah.
Anything on the cat, KJ? Did it inspire you?
I will take any photos of any people wearing leg sleeves on the course over the next few weeks. I'll keep note of this.
Please do. And that concludes our sports party. Before we run it back, dude, shout out to our friends at DraftKings. This Thanksgiving, be thankful for family, food, and free bets. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has a Turkey Day no-brainer you can't miss. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. A point, Dylan.
Seems almost too good to be true.
If the sportsbook is not available in your state yet, you can still get in on the Thanksgiving NFL action. Make your first deposit, and you can play free for millions with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Football Contests. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code WASH. Bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. That's promo code WASHED this Thanksgiving at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we may do so, let's run it back.
We run it back real quick.
Explain to the folks.
Any music for me? Or
Do
no?
I have any music
Or
for
no?
you? Do I?
Yeah, this is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. You got it, Dave?
Just you get some.
Okay.
Wait, here we go.
Make it heat. Ooh.
There we
Okay.
go.
The Cowboys couldn't pull it out. Micah Parsons can't either, as he is dickless. I don't know who wrote that one. It was
Okay.
not me. Luke Combs.
Is that really loud? Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Luke Combs, pretty popular, very mid. I wrote that one.
What was the dickless one?
Remember I said that Micah Parsons played his dick off? Yeah. I'm sorry.
You did say that.
Sorry for the kids at home. KJ used to buy disposable shirts and simply leave them. That's something I'm still not totally clear about, but I want to know more.
Is there just a trail of your shirts across North Texas? What's going on?
KJ lost his S, in quotes, during a bar fight and popped top preemptively. Dave often daydreams about non-combat sports fighting.
Scenarios with LeBron James, correct? I do.
Yeah,
It's a weird thing I
specifically
do.
with LeBron James.
Just a thing that I do. It's
Yeah.
totally normal for people.
Dylan won't believe in the big cat until he sees someone twerk on that leg. I didn't write that, but I do want to see him uncork a driver and just let one rip before I'm like, okay, he can compete again. That's all I'm saying.
You're never going to see him twerk on that leg.
KJ wrote that one.
I
As
thought
he
he
was-
said he wanted to see some torque on that leg.
Okay.
Real quick, programming note.
Mm-hmm.
Given that Thursday is the holiday of our founders and other founders and the original founders and food, live stream will likely not be occurring. Affirmative.
No live stream this week. Sorry.
So you'll have to look at your family or something. However, having said that, we will have our games and our picks posted in advance of the holidays. So I'll
That's what
send
I'm
those out
talking
by
about.
Wednesday.
I feel a hot ass week coming for me.
You're due to take a step back. You're due to take a big Gary P.
I'm sick of the guests. We need some dumbass guests.
I swear to God, dude, I'm gonna start
I'm sick
actually
of
booking
this.
guests who just. But you know what? The ones who don't even pick games, like don't gamble, they're doing great. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just a joke.
Pete
We're getting
Blackburn
smoked.
went 6-3 last week. Shout out to all of us because this is the first week. I have to go back and look at last year, but I think maybe the first or second week that everybody, guests included, hit their big boy stacks.
Yeah, our guest picked the big boy stack, which was also a regular pick earlier in the segment for that Thursday night game. So we started off like 3 hours after we made our picks. We were already playing from behind. It was really frustrating.
Yeah, there was also the question mark of the line that we had down for UTSA winning by 3, which they won by exactly 3 points. But then the book associated with ESPN had them at 3.5. I had to take David on his good faith and honesty that he got that pick at 3 points. That kept everybody in the game this week. So,
So I got my big boy stack.
you got your big boy stack.
Dude, UAB is no joke.
Yeah, whenever there's a push or the team, hits the line exactly, I give it to the team that wins the game. So if you would have picked UAB -3, I would have called that a loss.
Dylan, you all over any lines this week?
Is that a cocaine joke?
No, since we're not doing a live stream, I thought maybe you'd want to like.
No, I haven't looked at the lines yet.
Okay, I'm just freaking asking.
Okay.
You don't have to jump down my throat.
But I do rip lines like a 10-pound. What is it?
Like a 10-pound bass.
Rip lines like a 10-pound bass.
We broke down that new Kid Rock song, KJ. I'm sure you've already listened to it. It's really good.
Can I do something we'll all hate by adding one more talking point before the end of this podcast?
I love that.
You're going to have to clear it with Randy.
Rory McIlroy, speaking of ripping lines.
Rory McIlroy.
What is he doing?
I love it.
He got so frustrated he ripped his shirt off?
He shot 74, ripped his shirt. We've all done that. You've never done that?
If I shot 74 and ripped my shirt off, it would be out of elation and not out of frustration.
That's a good usage of the word elation.
Thank you, David.
Celebrating.
Since when does he rip his
Whatever.
shirts?
There we go.
Pure elation. Okay, let's leave. Are we done? You got any more?
Bye-bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
You